So here we go. We've got a situation for you to think about that you might relate to. So take this example. You've been at your club, your sports club, let's say for 5 years, okay? So you're well established at the club. You're part of the clique. You're part of the in crowd. You're part of the furniture. Your spot in the main squad is pretty much guaranteed every week. Socially, you're one of the most popular people around. You've pretty much got it all covered. You're really part of the club. But then a new player arrives. And when I say new, I mean new. They've just come, they've barely even played the sport before, but they've got all the gear already. They've nipped down to one of the sports shops and just got the cheapest brand that they could find. They're terribly uncoordinated as well. They've clearly just kind of decided, I'm going to have a go at this. And socially they're a bit awkward as well. Maybe they're a bit arrogant as well in how they hold themselves. So within a few weeks of being at the club, people have learned to keep their distance from this person. Don't hang around. But then one week, this socially awkward, uncoordinated, arrogant player asks you a dreaded question at the start of training. Says to you, would you like to warm up with me? And you're like, what's your answer? You're like, you know what it should be. You know you should do the right thing. You know you should be a good person and say, look, and do it. But then you're like, well, what if I do it? They'll drag me down to their level with them, and everyone in the club will think badly of you for associating with this person. And so that's the story we're going to read now as we look at our final bit from Luke. And in this account, we're going to read about a guy called Zacchaeus. And in some ways, he resembles this socially awkward, arrogant, bad player that's just arrived at the club. So I'll just get Gracie to read for us. The words will be up on the screen, or you can follow in your Bible if you still got it with you.
Jesus entered Jericho and was passing through. A man was there by the name of Zacchaeus. He was a chief tax collector and was wealthy. He wanted to see who Jesus was, but because he was short, he could not see over the crowd. So he ran ahead and climbed a sycamore fig tree to see him, since Jesus was coming that way. When Jesus reached the spot, he looked up and said to him, "Zacchaeus, come down immediately. I must stay at your house today." So he came down at once and welcomed him gladly. All the people saw this and began to mutter, "He has gone to be the guest of a sinner." But Zacchaeus stood up and said to the Lord, "Lord, look, here and now I give half of my possessions to the poor, and if I have cheated anybody out of anything, I will pay back 4 times the amount." Jesus said to him, "Today salvation has come to this house, because this man too is the son of Abraham. For the Son of Man came to seek and save the lost."
Thanks, Gracie. So, okay, you've heard about this guy, Zacchaeus. He's a tax collector, he's short, he's wealthy, and he's very keen to get a glimpse of this guy, Jesus. But you need to understand his social standing. He's a tax collector. And at the time, he was a despised position in society because he would have been a Jew, but he would have been viewed as a traitor because he'd have been collecting taxes on behalf of his fellow people to give to the oppressive Roman government at the time. He's wealthy as well because he'd also been taking his own cut and off his own people, and so he'd been cheating his own people. So he's a bit like the guy in the story. He's really kind of not liked by his people. You also need to understand from that passage that the Jews at the time were Jews that we read through the Old Testament as well, so before Jesus comes, is that they're known as God's chosen people. And the father figure of that time, the father figure was this guy called Abraham. So when someone was called a son of Abraham, it's to basically say they're associated as one of God's people. So there's a couple of key things you need to know about the passage. So I wonder if you've started now just to connect the dots in your mind and relating it to the story I gave at the start of this morning. Because you see, Zacchaeus is a bit like the socially awkward, unaccepted, uncoordinated new player. You should really steer clear of him. You shouldn't be associated with him. But it's worse than that, because Zacchaeus, he's an enemy really. He's a traitor. He's given in for his own own love of money, his own wealth. But you see how keen Zacchaeus is though. He's short, and so for him to be able to get a glimpse of Jesus, he has to climb up a tree, and he's looking down amongst all the crowds. And Jesus sees him and says, come on down, come and see me. And when he comes down, he doesn't just give Zacchaeus a high five, give him a fist bump. He goes beyond that. He says, can I come over for dinner? I mean, that's pretty bold. Not just, do you want to come for dinner? I'm going to come over to your house tonight. And that's a real kind of sign of like, look, I want to be associated with you. I want to spend some time with you. So Jesus goes over to dinner with Zacchaeus, and you'll notice in verse 8, if we have that up on again, Zacchaeus calls Jesus Lord. You see, he's recognizing that who Jesus is. And as a result of that, he chooses to honor Jesus with all that he has, and that includes his money. He chooses to give up the thing that's ruled his life. See, Zacchaeus no longer wants this love of money to be the thing that rules his life. And as a result, what does Jesus do? He calls him a son of Abraham. So Zacchaeus has been accepted as one of God's people. Okay, so what does this all mean? Well, we've seen that across this week. We've seen that Jesus calls people to himself, people that recognize their need for him. This is the call of the rescuer. He doesn't require you to have it all together. Those who think that they've got it all together haven't recognized and haven't understood the gravity of their sin, their brokenness, and their need for God. If you think you've got it all together, you're lying. That's why Jesus came. That's why it's the greatest escape story of all time, the greatest escape story of all of history. That's why it was put in place. That's why we've looked at it this week. That's why Jesus dies on the cross. That's why he takes your punishment. That's why he's raised to life from the dead. That's why he now has power over death. And your sin has been accounted for. Why? Because what does it say at the end there? It says Jesus came to seek and save the lost. You see that? Jesus came to seek and save the lost. He hasn't come. The rescue plan is not in place for those who think they've got it all together. For those who think that somehow they're good enough. But he comes to those who recognise, like Zacchaeus, that they have betrayed God and not put him first in their life. Okay. So why do we end Sports Plus here on this note? Because it's been an incredible week, hasn't it? The sport, I don't know what your favourite bits are. The sport's been pretty good. It's the chance of going off this year. It's such good fun. The banter, the team challenge, food's always epic here. Friends, you've made some great friends. It's just been so much fun. And for many of you last night and across the week, it's been a life-transforming time. See, because you've understood Jesus' rescue plan for you. And you've decided that, as we've been looking in the morning meetings, that you want to offer your whole life now as a living sacrifice. Because you understand what Jesus has done for you. And you've decided that you're going to give him all that you are. Your mind, your body, your emotions. You want to use that for ultimate worship for the rest of your life because of what he's done. So where to from here then? Well, as you go from Sports Plus, remember that Jesus came to seek and save the lost. Remember that tomorrow. Remember that in 4 weeks' time. Remember that in 3 months' time. Remember that all through the year till next Sports Plus. If you don't come to Sports Plus next year, you'll be sad. But if you don't, remember it for the rest of your life. Jesus came to seek and save the lost. Because the way in to following Christ, the way in to becoming a Christian is the way on each day. In a few weeks' time, you might have forgotten about this. You may feel that you've stuffed up. As a Christian, you may feel that you've done something that doesn't reflect the thankfulness of what Jesus has done for you. You may feel that you haven't given ultimate worship to God all the time. And that's pretty normal. But remember, it never changes. You'll need to continually come back and remember that it's Jesus who has rescued you because you're lost. The way in is the way on. never changes. And we say that every year. We say every year to help, we say this every year to help you remember that Jesus is your rescuer. We say these things, and Gracie and Dan have already said it. Stay committed. If you're already in a church, in a youth group, stay committed to that. Stay committed to your sport, but stay committed to those people that can be around you to support you in this journey, to remember that Jesus came and called you. He came to save and seek the lost. There's other things around there as well. There's leaders that will be praying for you here. There's leaders back at your church, I know, that will be praying for you. I know there'll be your parents that will be praying for you as you go through this and you head back to realities of what your life is back home. Your leaders have modelled it well for you this week as well. Every morning you've had a bit of time just to read a little bit of the Bible, just to remember. And you can do that again. You can just keep reading what we've been doing, read a bit of Luke. You can pray. God, and that's the incredible thing. God sends His Holy Spirit. When you come to Christ, He sends His Holy Spirit with you to be with you at all times. And you can call on Him and you can pray. You can get involved as well. We've got those Pray, Play, Say groups starting up. We've got the reunion not far away. So there's some things in place to help you remember that Jesus came to save the lost. Not those who are good enough, not when you've got it all together, but He came for you. Why else do we remember that Jesus came to seek and save the lost? Well, because among you, those around you, those friends around you, those at school, those you play sport with, they're those who haven't heard about this great escape plan, this greatest escape plan for their life. And now that you've heard it, you have a chance to tell them, because it's incredible. What can you do? You can pray. Why? You can say. You can pray for boldness. You can pray for boldness and opportunities to share something about Jesus with your friends. You can look to play sports for God in a way that worships Him. Ultimate worship. Offering your body as a living sacrifice all the time. And when you get the chance, you can say something. Say something to your friends about this greatest escape plan you've heard, and now that you're now a part of it. And it's great, incredible. It's an incredible story to be a part of. It's the story that all your leaders are a part of.